Hello everyone, my name is Robin, here with further details about Rooster Teeth's closure. If you aren't familiar, Rooster Teeth is being shut down and the employees will wrap up their employment over the course of the following 60 days. Their final workday is May 10th, so this is not an entirely immediate shutdown. I failed to report that clearly before. I made a video a couple days ago about it that I am now linking in the description. And in that video, I wanted to get the point across of how we didn't know too much, or we wouldn't know too much until the live stream that has now happened yesterday at the time of recording. Now that the live stream is over, I can share what more we know. There is some important stuff, though there's also some stuff that even the talent at the company does not know yet. This has all been very sudden, so it's natural that they don't have all of the answers. But this video is to share what more we do know now. On that live stream, quite a few people opened up about their time at Rooster Teeth and their next steps, the weight of it all, etc. Jeff Ramsey, Jack Patillo, Barbara Dunkelman, Trevor Collins, Jordan Levin, etc. The live stream was mostly just that, people opening up. First, if you haven't seen anything about it, yes, Rooster Teeth's entire company of over 150 full-time employees and several more contractors is now being laid off, has 60 days left of employment before going their separate ways, while their more popular intellectual properties like Ruby, Red vs. Blue, etc. will be sold off. Deadline and Variety have both put out articles explaining this, and you'll find links to those below. Basically, here's a rule of thumb for what shows or properties are being canceled and what aren't. If it is something that the 150-something odd employees would do in the next 60 days, they will still do it over the next 60 days, but they won't do it anymore after that. The livestream did give some specifics, so here those are. Red vs. Blue's final season will still air. Jordan Levin also said that there will be news on that in the next week. According to Bernie Burns as well on a recent episode of his podcast Morning Somewhere, Bernie took some risks with the writing and included a lot of throwbacks in it as well. He wanted to appeal to the longtime fans who'd been invested in the full scope of the show. Bernie also said a lot more relevant things in his podcast, but I'll get to that in a bit. I'm first going to go back to the live stream. On that live stream, they said that the remaining 3 episodes of Camp are finished and will still air. Ruby Volume 9 Beyond, the extended Volume 9 epilogue, and the rest of the previously announced bonus content for Volume 9 will also still air. Carrie Shawcross only explicitly mentioned Volume 9 Beyond, if I'm not mistaken, but I'd have to imagine that this applies to the rest of the content as well. As for Ruby Volume 10, it is a same recurring refrain. Carrie said that they are still having meetings about it, they're still working with partners, that sort of thing. He also said this about Ruby.
I, with all of my heart and everything I have, want to finish that story. It started over 10 years ago, and it's been a third of my life, and I really want to finish what we started, so I'm going to do my best.
However, I'm not exactly sure what amount of power or authority Carrie will have after May 10th. It does comfort me that these meetings are still happening, but I wonder to what effect they could have an effect. Jack Patillo said that there will still be an Extra Life charity livestream event this year as well. Those typically happen in early November, so be sure to follow Jack Patillo on social media to stay up to date on that. He will have all of the best info. Another thing, Rooster Teeth has been making internet videos for almost 21 years, so how much of it will survive versus not? As far as long-term content preservation and archival, 60 days from now, all of the YouTube channels will remain up, but without posting any new content for the foreseeable future. I'm not 100% sure what will become of the first exclusive content that never left the Rooster Teeth website, but I know that there is actually a community-led effort to archive them called the Archive of Pimps. I am linking to said archive in the description. In the livestream, they urged community members to continue to follow and support the individuals at the company that they like if they're able to, on an individual level. And apparently, the company is also putting together a list, or a directory, so to speak, of former RT employees to make it easier for the community to follow them. This and more info will come in a future email to the community, the contents of which I will put in the description whenever it comes. If you have any further questions about what exactly the fallout will look like, community manager Chelsea Atkinson said that the Rooster Teeth website is the best place to find answers. Specifically, the community official Rooster Teeth Teeth news on the website will be the best place to go. They all still have lots to figure out, but that is where further news will be posted. I know I didn't talk about every Rooster Teeth project under the sun in this video, but there was a common refrain of we're still working out exactly what the last days hold for X or Y project. Even the crew doesn't know everything yet because this has all been incredibly sudden for them. Aside from the live stream, let's get back to that podcast I mentioned. If you didn't know, Bernie and Ashley Burns now have a podcast called Morning Somewhere, after Bernie left the internet for 4 years. I encourage you to listen to the full episode for yourself. I linked it in the description, and it's just under a half-hour long. But aside from what I mentioned earlier about Red vs. Blue, Bernie also said that he hasn't been directly involved in the production of Red vs. Blue for over a year, though he did record the crew commentary for it a couple months ago. About the layoffs, Bernie stressed the importance of focusing on how 150-something people are now out of a job and their well-being comes first. He mostly wanted to focus on the sentiment that people should follow Rooster Teeth's talent wherever they go, and continue to support whatever projects they are a part of. It also seemed like Bernie wanted Rooster Teeth to outlive him. As things grew and changed and the on-screen talent and shows shifted, he felt that it was not fair to the projects coming in later that they had to overcome a hurdle that is, this thing isn't the previous thing that people still wish were happening. Why can't you just keep making that previous thing? So he felt like those people now weren't being given a fair shake. Bernie also spoke to some current employees about their severance packages, and the severances people got depended on their length of tenure with the company, as is the norm. According to a video from Inside Games by former Funhouse talent Bruce Green and Lawrence Sontag, some people got 6 months of severance pay, though we don't know what length of tenure that equates to, but I'm leaning to the longer end because that's pretty generous. Bruce and Lawrence were also rather candid in their video about their time as part of Rooster Teeth. They went into detail about their perceptions of the company over time and their issues with it. Lawrence said that he would like to look back more fondly at his time at the company than he does, but he understands that it's taught him a lot about what not to do. Bruce said that Rooster Teeth to him was the story of an incredible pool of talent being constantly shortchanged by the management at the top. And he's clear that he does not mean Bernie Burns or Matt Holm when he says that, but people even higher than them, specifically. Again, their video is linked in the description below, and you should watch it for more context. And that's it. That's all I have. And just like last time, I will close out this video with more words from the various talent that were involved that are now being laid off. They deserve everything. They have until May 10th to finish out their work, after which the company is completely done. I'm sure that at least a few of the employees will look for different ways that they can continue to make what they made at Rooster Teeth, though in a slightly different form somewhere else. The future is very uncertain, but Rooster Teeth is full of passionate, creative people who just want to keep making things. As usual, all of the relevant sources are linked in the description below, as I've said. If I have missed anything that I should have covered, or if something else new comes up, I will add it to the description as well. This will likely be my last news video on this topic. I don't know if anything else will be worthy of covering short of news about Ruby actually being sold off or whatever becomes of the IP. But this is not my last video ever. There are still a couple more coming out in the months ahead, so please do stick around if you would like. I'll see you next time. I'm Robin Rising. Have a good one.